Welcome to Unit 2 of EDSE 512. Our focus for Unit 2 will be technical aspects of assessment. You'll see also information regarding descriptive statistics, and this does fall into the concept of assessment and those technical aspects. What kinds of results do we get, and what are the results compared to? How do we do that comparison, and what kind of interpretation can exist after these processes have been completed? These foundational ideas about assessment will allow us to move into our next unit where we address types of assessments, and these concepts will continue as relevant throughout our course. Remember to keep a close eye on the course schedule document. After Unit 1 closes on the Wednesday night at 11:59 p.m. Mountain Standard, Unit 2 opens on the following Thursday. It's important to recall the initial discussion deadline. If you have any questions regarding timelines and deadlines for discussion posts and responses, please let me know. Remember the text or source citation requirement in APA format also. That's an important part of supporting your statements in a discussion. It really takes the discussion focus from a conversation to an evidence-based collaborative effort. So that kind of source citation is quite valuable when we are conducting those academic discussions, and it allows us to identify relevant connections from our reading to the topics that we're addressing in class together. You'll see that chapters 3 and 4 have been assigned from your text for this week. If you are having any issues or concerns about accessing your text, please contact me as soon as possible so that we can discuss your situation. For the unit, you'll see several videos and links to review, as well as a module that you can complete for your own information. I do encourage you to do all of the IRIS modules included in our course whenever relevant or possible. So we will take a look at that just so you're familiar. And then we do have a Unit 2 discussion. So we've got our visual here letting you know what we are looking at for this unit, and you'll see that the graded assignment will be our Unit 2 discussion board. And this is familiar to you. You can see that the same documents, PDF format, are attached here for you to review as a part of our lecture. There is a visual for you here as well, and that visual will make sense as you review the lecture content. You'll see that there are clear connections, so you can refer back to it. This is information regarding raw scores, the score that the person gets on the test without any kind of adjustment. So if you don't know the test well, a raw score is not going to be very meaningful. A raw score can be moved into forms that are easier to interpret and make more sense to people across settings. This could be for families, parents, or guardians. This could be for other providers. This could be for general education teachers or for the student themselves. So you'll see that we may encounter standard scores. We may encounter age equivalents, saying this performance on an assessment indicates that the student is at the level of a typical, and when I say typical, we're talking about the normal curve, 7-year-old or 12-year-old, for instance. So the average, what we'll see when we're controlling and looking through norm referenced assessment. And then grade equivalence, same concept. A student functioning at a 3rd grade level, 6th grade level, 9th grade level, you'll hear those terms used. So those raw scores that a student may achieve on a given test or assessment can be funneled into these different formats to help us understand what kind of functioning is happening based on that assessment and how we can report that functioning to other stakeholders. And oftentimes those are the members of the IEP team, including, of course, the student and their family. So as we go along, you'll see more information about standard scores. We can also consider percentile. I know that you all are familiar with that, a student performing in the 5th percentile versus the 95th percentile, or perhaps right in the middle at the 50th percentile when compared with peers. So look below for more information regarding standard scores. In standards, you can see standard deviation is a part of this. So you want to reflect to any statistics courses that you've taken in the past. You'll see more information to review these topics as we move on through the unit. On the previous page as well, which you might have seen down there at the bottom, is an article that addresses the topics of age and grade equivalence and why they may be faulty and not the best reporting values, or perhaps should not be used in isolation in many different situations. So you'll see the benefit there of standard scores and percentiles as measurements as well. Videos on the measures of central tendency. This really is a review of mean, median, and mode. These are pieces of information that you may have covered in previous statistics courses, as well as the topics of reliability and validity. So there is a video here, a couple scenarios for you to review. An assessment is reliable when you know that you will obtain the same results every time. And an assessment is valid when you are testing what you want to be testing. So for instance, you might have a reliable assessment in that you're getting the same thing each time, but that assessment might not be valid because you're testing something else altogether. So please do review these videos in this reading. It'll give you some examples of reliability and validity, a couple scenarios here as well, and moving into more information on statistics. This video will also address reliability and validity for a review in case you need more information on those concepts. In our assessments in special education, we obviously want both reliability and validity, and we want this consistently over time. So you'll see there are links that you can use to open videos. Information on modes and those distributions, most frequently occurring scores. This is a video with information on the normal curve, which is what was mentioned before. When we're looking at those standard scores, we're really thinking about how many standard deviations or how far from the quote-unquote normal or the middle, the mean, the average, is this student scoring when we are looking at a body of evidence or data scores based on the normal curve. And that's the idea that our assessment is norm referenced. So a student who is scoring with a standard score that is far below that mean, for instance, a standard score of 70 or 60, is significantly struggling in a certain area per the results of that assessment. A student who scores with a standard score of 120 is far above the average on that curve, if that is the standard score. Another link for the video. And another video also addressing the importance of the normal curve in relation to special education. So back to key ideas in reliability and validity. This video does connect those topics directly to education as well, just for additional insight. And as you're reviewing these videos and talking about reliability and validity, and here's another video about bias. You can watch these by clicking those links. You want to think about the assessments that you have used in previous roles or setting or are currently using or plan to use in the future. How are you testing students, and how do you know that your assessments are producing both reliable and valid results? This is the IRIS module, so this is a link for you to click. This is not something that will be for a grade, but I strongly encourage you to take the time to complete this. There are two different sections, so the original link will take you to the new segments for this. It's been broken down into mathematics progress monitoring, as well as the second option, which is reading progress monitoring. So it's valuable for you to review both of those, and you can click on these various links to move through it. So here's a video. You've had a few of those, and this is another one. There's a transcript there as well. Can respond to this prompt regarding the video. Then you'll see some more information about the objectives for this module, and as you go, there's reading to do, types of assessment, formative versus summative versus diagnostic. All valuable information, and here you'll see references to research, so you can look into those studies too if you're interested. You can search those. Progress monitoring, once again, we have the modules both for mathematics and for reading, so you can review each of these. And this original module has just been split into math and reading. Both of those obviously are valuable regardless of your role or your level or your setting. And finally, here is your discussion board. So there is score information provided for a student. This is just random scores provided for us to calculate mean, median, and mode. So the videos that you watch will teach you how to do that. Obviously, mean being average, we add them together and divide by the number of values. Median, we need to list them in order and identify the middle value or average the two middle values. So add them and divide them by 2 to get that ultimate number as the median. Or for the mode, the most frequently occurring value, which emerges pretty quickly as we review this data set. So you need to answer these questions. Be sure to cite your source or sources in APA format, and there may also be resources beyond what you found in the course shell that may be helpful to you examining these topics. So please connect to your experiences, connect to the real world. That's what makes our course content less theoretical and conceptual and more applied. And for many of us, that can make the content even more engaging. So please don't hesitate to do that. If you've got questions about your current setting or a past situation, bounce them off of us. That's what we're here for as a team and a group here in our course in these online discussion boards. Please reach out with any questions as always, and I look forward to continuing to work with you.